What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the SVR channel. It's your boy Slade, and today we're going to be rolling the fenders. Yeah, so I had to go change my shirt because it was getting hot out here. You guys like my hat? So I just want to start off by saying thank you guys for following this channel. Thank you for supporting me. Thanks for all the likes and the subs and the comments, and especially on some of the comments from some of my old videos too. But you know, you guys, thanks for that. But if you're new to this channel, if you happen to stumble across this video, I hope to keep sharing more content for you guys. The bag life is a wonderful life. I love being on bags, but the ride is a lot smoother than just static coilovers. And plus, when you show up to meets, when you show up to a parking lot, and you're parked next to someone and you air out or air up, just the look on their face is priceless. You get a lot of cool points for this, and overall it looks good. But you know, like anything, it can also be a great gift and a curse. So just the other day, I suffered the worst nightmare that any bag rider could experience. I blew out a bag right in the middle of the heat wave. It was 97 degrees out and the bag popped. Now, how did the bag pop? Well, when I first got these bags here, actually my second set of bags, the first set of bags I lucked out. I didn't really compensate for how far the inner wheel reached the strut. So when I got the bags, I thought I was okay. So my original bags were fine. But when I upgraded to the double convoluted bags, those were a little bit wider, and I thought I had enough clearance. Turns out I didn't. The inner wheel started rubbing up against the bag itself, causing it to rub away. One of my adjustment periods, I was trying to calibrate the bag, and then I just lost. I heard a pop, hit a pothole in the road, lost all pressure, heard the loud hissing sound. I felt my line came out. I tried airing back up. I looked at my digital gauge, and it was just no air was holding up. The number would go up and then drop all the way back down to zero. Next thing you know, I'm scraping the underside of my car, or my tire here, and I'm just like, I can't believe this actually happened to me on the hottest day. It was 97 degrees that day, very hot, very humid. It was the worst. But luckily, I kept my old bags, and I reinstalled my previous bag, one of my previous bags, to the other side, so now that's running correctly. Now, to compensate for that rubbing, I'm going to install these wheel spacers here. Now, I already did the other side, so I'm just knock that out pretty quickly. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do this side right here. In case you wanted to know what it looks like to put on wheel spacers and to roll the fenders, we're going to do that right now. In order for me to get these wheel spacers on so it'll provide me clearance from the strut, I also need to make sure that I've got clearance of the fender lip as well. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep gouging out my tires, which you can see right here started to gouge out a little bit when I was limping back home. So I definitely need to get new tires. Can't keep running on these for quite much longer. So we're going to roll the fenders, get this pushed out a little bit, then I'll install the wheel spacer, and then we should be good to go. And I shouldn't be rubbing on that inner bag anymore. So if you take a quick look, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here, and hopefully you can see it. See right there? There is no clearance at all. The inner tire is touching the bag just, well, not really. I'm probably clearing by like 2 millimeters, but down here is rubbing up against the bracket, and it's starting to wear a little bit every time I'm turning. So the other bag actually suffered a great catastrophe. There was a hole right here, and it just completely popped. So I had to replace that one. But now this one, I'm going to put the wheel spacer on right down here, and then it'll provide me more clearance from when I'm turning. Before we can install the wheel spacer, we got to roll the fender first. And before we can roll the fenders, we need to remove all these little fender brackets, these inner wheel well brackets. So we're just going to cut these off. Oops, need that. This is going to be very important too. These spacers that I have are hub-centric wheel spacers, which that means is it actually has this little inner lip protruding out the middle of the spacer, so that when it sits on the hub, my aftermarket wheels will be able to sit on this lip pretty comfortably, and it should prevent the wobbling. Well, it's supposed to prevent the wobbling. This hub ring will acts like a washer, will sit right on top of that and give it a nice snug fit. This is a 12 millimeter, which comes up to roughly about a ½ inch in thickness. Put the spacer on just like that, and then I put the wheel on just like that. But then I noticed there isn't enough of the thread from the studs popping out for me to screw on the lug nuts. I feel like I bought these particular spacers for nothing, and I thought I was stuck in the mud, but then I realized I bought some wheel spacers a very long time ago, and these are 3/4 inch spacers, and this actually comes with another set of studs attached to it with the lug nuts. This is going to sit like this right here. Then all of these studs will be the new wheel studs. My old studs will be used to fasten the new spacer. So that seems to work well, and that provides good clearance between the inner wheel and the bag here, so I'm good to go with that. Also, it gives me a nice fitment underneath here, so when I roll this fender and drop it, it's going to sit perfectly. So you guys doing your applications, you might not need to do some of these extra steps here. I don't know, depends on your setup. So now this 3/4 inch spacer will give me the clearance that I need for my inner wheel to clear the bag. And if we could take a look inside here, now that I got the wheel off, you guys can actually see where the bag starts to rub, which means this bag is that's on its way out too. I'm probably gonna have to change that at some point, sometime soon, because I don't want to be on the road again with this thing popping. I'm gonna have to tackle that another day. Hopefully this thing will last until then. I pray. All right, got all these little brackets cut off. Now, over time, the inner lip of the fender tends to do what's called this little bacon effect, where it starts to get some ripples right there. So what we got to do is we're going to interchange between the fender roller and my hammer and a heat gun, and just kind of heat up the metal quite a bit, get it nice and hot and malleable, and just start kind of pounding in and flattening out some of these bacon bits. So now we can get this guy on. This area here will sit right on the hub, secure it with a few, I used 3 of my lug nuts to secure it onto the hub here like it was the wheel. And then this part right here, you unscrew this, you could extend the length for how long you need it. My car is pretty small. The fender wheel is pretty small, so I'm going to keep it down at the lowest setting. Here's the roller right here, and it's adjusted with this clamp right here. So you unscrew this clamp, and then you could move it around and adjust it to the angle that you want. And we're just going to do it, adjust it little by little until we can start finally rolling back this lip. And the lip underneath here is going to be nice and flush to the inner wall. Once that's flush all the way around, then we'll start extending this, and this will start to push out. And you extend it and adjust the angle with this guy right here. So you start turning this lever, it'll start forcing out the wheel, the roller, and you can start moving it side to side, and little by little start heating up the area to soften up the metal a little bit more as you're going along, and it'll start to bow the fender. And you do that for however long you need it. I didn't really measure exactly how much I need to roll out, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I really don't know how to actually measure what I need, but I kind of got lucky on the other side, and I'm just going to kind of mirror that, and hopefully I'll get this bowed out enough where I can drop the car, and then this lip will sit over the wheel. So screw on here. You don't need to put all of them on there, just 3 just to hold it. Now I can start freely turning this. As I turn this knob, it starts to push the wheel out, and then little by little I'll just start literally rolling the fender. Alright, some of these bacon spots I'm going to hammer in. So got my heat gun right here, and I'm going to start lightly heating up this area and just start tapping this in. Yes, I am using a sledge for this because it's the toughest, safest thing that I have. If I use a hammer, I keep slipping the hammer, because the hammer has a smaller surface area, and I keep knocking and slipping off, and I don't want to keep messing up the outer rim of the fender. If I mess up the inner rim, it's fine. And also my rubber mallet isn't strong enough to bend back these bacon ripples here, so that's why I'm using this one here, using this 3-pound sledge. Now when you're heating this up, you don't want to keep heat on a constant area, because what the heat is going to do, it'll soften up the paint, and that way when you start rolling this fender and the metal starts to bow out, it won't stretch. It'll start to stretch the paint, and it won't keep putting cracks inside the paint. So that's why you want to heat it up. But my thing's vinyl wrap, my buddy's vinyl wrap right here. Get out here, mosquito. So it's not going to chip the paint underneath or crack the paint, or even crack this vinyl. So, but I will have little minor imperfections like that, which I'll just get an X-Acto blade and trim that off. Now I'm not going to do the full swing and bring it all the way down to the other side. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. Alright, so now that's starting to tuck under there pretty nicely. I'm going to keep doing this process until it's nice and flat. And it is better to have two people working on this. That way one person could work the heat gun, the other person could work the wheel roller. Idiots showing off on my street here. He's gonna blow out his clutch. Alright, so now I think this should do it. So now I'm gonna take this bad boy off, put my wheel on, and see if my fender will fit over the wheel. It's not pretty, but all I need to do is just to get it sit over the wheel. Eventually, I already have a set of rims that I want to put on here. I've got some nice deep dish rims waiting for me. So in order for me to get those to fit, I actually need to cut the fender and get some over fenders. So I'm actually going to have to wide body this car for my new rims to sit on this properly. So I'm not too worried about if this is looking absolutely beautiful. I mean, I want it to look good, but eventually I know I'm gonna have to cut this soon. All right, let's test it out. Yeah, like I said, it's not the prettiest, but these never really are. That's that on there pretty good. Some imperfections. Probably could have did a better job with this area. I don't know how to get that back out. That right there can probably come out a little bit more. Might just have to hammer that. But yeah, rolled fenders. Perfect. Alright, but anyway guys, that's how you roll the fenders, and I'm gonna finish this up here, do some minor touch-ups, trim the vinyl on the side, make it look a little bit cleaner than it looks right now, but I can live with this as long as it doesn't scrape my wheel. And now I've got the proper clearance with the spacer, so now my wheel doesn't rub up against my back. So I call this a win. So I'm gonna stop it right here, guys. Once again, if you like this content, please like and sub to the channel. Really does help me out a great deal. Stay tuned for more videos because I'm installing in a new stereo system. Still got some more to do to this bad boy right here. Well, you guys comment below, let me know what you think. And until next time, it's like I always say, love what you do what you love. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Gee, damn, it's hot out here. I'm about to die.